Previously, we talked about how it's not always possible to get different outputs for different inputs when creating a hash function. So now we're going to talk about what happens when you don't get different outputs for different inputs, which we called is a collision. So let's give an example. Let's assume that function that will, when we give an input of, let's say, apple, it will give us the alphabetical index of the first letter of this word. We have A, B, C, D, and we can start from 0. We can start the index from 0, and we can say that 0, 1, 2, 3. So when we said apple, it will give us 0. And if we give cherry, the hash function will give us 2. And in our array, let's say that apple was $7 and cherry is $8. In the array, we're going to put 7 for the 0th index, and it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And for the second index, we're going to put 8. Well, what if we plug in avocado next? What will happen? Well, the first letter of avocado is A, so it's going to give us 0. Let's say avocado is $12. So when that happens, when the hash function gives us 0, we're going to go back and to the index 0 and we're going to put 12. Well, we already have a 7 there. So what are we going to do? One thing we can do is to create a linked list in this place. So we can store both 7 and 12. And if we have another collision, we can keep adding to this linked list. What happens in this case is once we get 0 from a hash function, we come to this place and we see that it is a linked list, and we keep tracing in the linked list to try to find, let's say, the avocado, price of the avocado. But this kind of defeats the purpose of the hash table, right? We wanted to find the price of any item right away. But in this case, it's not going to be right away. But it's still better, right? Instead of going through every single item, we're going to go through maybe 3 or 4 items to find the price. So what we learned from this is that if we want a good hash table, we need to have a really good hash function. Well, what does it mean to have a really good hash function? Is that hash function should have minimum collisions. Ideally, none.